Okay, hey everyone. So I just want to ask a question. How many people here have really struggled with a specific sin in their life, and that sin just constantly eats away at you and makes you feel guilty. It impacts your relationship with the Lord, and maybe even impacts your relationship with other people. Um, But I'm here to. That's really honestly a rhetorical question because I know that all of us have, one way or another, experienced something like that in our lives. So I'm here to tell you today that you're able to, as a follower of Christ, um, to defend yourself from that sin and be freed from the guilt that comes along with it. So today we'll be reading from Ephesians 6, 10 through 16. So, Apostle Paul writes to the Ephesians and says, "Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand firm. Stand therefore, having fastened on the belt of truth, and having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and as for your feet, having put on the readiness given by the gospel of peace. In all circumstances, take up the shield of faith, with which you can extinguish all the flaming darts of the evil one." So the Ephesians were also struggling, um, and they were being persecuted for their faith, um, and among other things, many other things that they were dealing with. And it would have been easy for them to just, um, in order to make their lives easier, um, just continue to go with the flow and renounce their faith and just give up Christ. Um, but Paul writes to them and says that their struggle is with the spiritual forces at work in the heavens, and the devil, um, and oh, sorry, in the schemes of the devil. And although their struggles might have been different in this particular context, the principle really does remain the same. That followers of Christ may be able to put on the full armor of God, to defend themselves from the schemes of the devil, to defend themselves from constantly committing the same sin over and over again, and extinguish the flaming darts from the enemy. And one thing that we know as followers of Christ is that the devil is crafty at what he does, but it's always the same thing that he gets us with. Every time it's very predictable. He's not he's crafty, but he's also not creative, if that makes any sense. So, one thing that we can be certain of is, as followers of Christ, we can put on the full armor of God to to be equipped to be able to fight off the desires of the flesh, um, and just be confident that the full armor of God will equip us to do the right thing, to strengthen us in our faith, and not to fall prey to any of of the traps that the devil can ensnare us with, because he's crafty. But again, it's always the same things. So following Ephesians 6:10 through 16 can help us to fight off the struggle that we have um, with the same sin over and over again. Awesome.